Welcome back to Startup Hack. With my 25 years of development experience here at Startup Hack, we've turned beginners into full-stack developers in as little as 3 months. Today, we're diving into a comparison between two distinct database solutions, SQLite and Couchbase. Let's break down their pros and cons so you can make the best choice for your next project. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in here and let's talk about SQLite versus Couchbase. So this is going to be a great comparison, and I find both of these useful for various different use cases. So let's dive in a little bit on these. So first, let's talk about some of the SQLite pros. So SQLite is a self-contained serverless database engine that requires minimal setup and administration. It's a great choice for embedded systems, mobile applications, or simple desktop applications, where a full-fledged database server is not required. I also find it sometimes nice with this self-contained if you don't need it to be online. Now, SQLite is serverless, so there is no need to set up a separate database server or manage user permissions. Developers can simply include SQLite libraries in their applications and start using it immediately. And that's one of the things I really like about it, because you can set it up, it takes no setup, and it also requires no internet access. So this becomes an important feature as well. SQLite is also cross-platform, so it runs on all major operating systems, including Windows, Mac OS X, Linux, and various mobile platforms. So this makes it super easy to develop applications that can be developed across different environments without modifications. All right, so that's some of the pros to SQLite. Let's talk a little bit about some of the pros to Couchbase. So Couchbase is designed for scalability, making it suitable for large-scale applications that requires high performance and availability. It can easily handle distributed data across multiple nodes. So it's really designed for this high availability. Couchbase can offer built-in replication and failover mechanisms, ensuring high availability and data redundancy. This makes it suitable for mission-critical applications where downtime is not acceptable. It also supports flexible node configuration, including JSON documents and key value pairs. This flexibility allows developers to adapt to changing requirements and each evolve their data structures over time. So Couchbase might be a better comparison against a Redis. So really, SQLite and Couchbase are pretty much polar opposites when it comes to what they're really good at. So let's talk a little bit about SQLite cons. So SQLite has very limited support for concurrent read and write operations, especially when multiple processes or threads are accessing the database simultaneously. This can lead to performance bottlenecks in highly concurrent applications. Now, usually this isn't a really big deal because you're using it as an embedded data source, most commonly with SQLite. So with scalability is also one of its cons. SQLite can handle moderate-sized data sets. It's not designed for highly scalable or performance in distributed environments. It may struggle to keep up with the demands of the large-scale applications with thousands or millions of users. And lastly, its lack of client-server architecture. Unlike traditional SQL databases, SQLite does not have a client-server architecture. That means it cannot support multiple clients accessing the same database over a network. It's primarily intended for single user or local use cases. And that's really the crux of it, right? So as we talk also about Couchbase's cons, let's talk about some of its cons. And you're really seeing that these two databases really are pretty much polar opposites. So one of the cons to Couchbase is its setup is very complex. So the setup and managing a Couchbase cluster can be complex, especially for developers who are not familiar with distributed systems. It requires careful planning and configuration to ensure optimal performance and reliability. The next one is the cost. Couchbase is a commercial product, and while it offers a community edition with basic features, advanced features and supports often requires a paid subscription. This can make it less suitable for small or budget-constrained projects. And I know most of my listeners are startups because we're Startup Hack, and we love helping entrepreneurs build applications as well as train their developers. And so I know that Couchbase is probably not one that you guys are going to see a lot, and I'm guessing most of my crowd is going to be leaning more toward the SQLite for this very reason. Lastly, the learning curve for Couchbase is really high. It has its own query language, which is called N1QL, an administrative tool which developers need to learn in order to work effectively with the database. This learning curve can be steep for those accustomed to a traditional SQL database. So now, we always jump to our code samples, right? Because that's what we do here at Startup Hack, is we teach developers. So of course, we've got to dig into some code here. So we can first start with SQLite because this is code that you're going to see very frequently. And again, you're seeing less than 30 lines of code. And so this is pretty amazing. So we start off with our sample database, right? We just give the data source, with most commonly as just a string to a file path locally, right? Then after that, we do the connection string, which is usually just a username and password, but again, it's local, so it's pretty simple. We create the table, and then we can use the table to execute a query, right? And we close the connection, and that's it. It's really pretty much that straightforward, and a lot of times you'll even see code be executed just like this, where the database may even be checked into a project, and you could see it actually probably excluded from Get, but still checked in with the project, and maybe even deployed with the project. SQLite is really handy for that. Now, Couchbase. As we would expect, Couchbase is much more complicated, right? A little more complicated. And again, we give you sample code here, so make sure you always go and download our sample code. There's no reason for you guys to type this all out. So I go through it pretty quick, given the assumption that down in the links down below, you can go and pull down our repository. This repository has hundreds. I think this is the 196th sample code we have, and we even have another set of code samples over in in a second one. So I think we have around 300 or 400 coding samples now that we give away all for free. So make sure you go and download those. So anyways, here we have the Couchbase manager, right? And this is this class which is going to inherit from iDisposable. We have the generic constructor, and then with the constructor, we can see that we're setting up a new list, right? And in this, we can see that this is document data store. So we're inserting documents, and then it disposes. So pretty simple to straightforward. We can connect to it. We give it the bucket name. We create a new dictionary, and we insert that in here. So again, very simple to get started on with, but like we learned about before, the setup of the database itself is where things get really complex. So Couchbase and SQLite probably couldn't be polar opposites, and as I'm making this video, I'm kind of finding what I really want to do next is maybe do a Couchbase versus a Redis, or Couchbase versus Cassandra. Those would probably be good comparisons. So we'll do another video with some of those comparisons coming up. So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, because I try to bring you guys good, helpful content. And leave me a comment. I'd love to hear what you found useful, what you didn't like. I love criticism, honestly, because it means you're watching my videos and checking this out, and that I'm bringing you something helpful. So that's all that we have for today. Again, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. And as always, make sure that you remind your friends and anybody you know who's wanting to get into development. We love to train software developers here at Startup Hack, and we can get you to an intern level in just 3 months. So check out startuphack.com today, and we'll catch you guys next time. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, because we bring you lots of great tutorials and tips that every developer should know. See you next time.